Hello, welcome to Little Elle's Workshops on a beautiful autumn day in lockdown number 2. So we're going to be making Christmas wreaths because I normally do Christmas wreath making classes about this time and up until Christmas, but of course we won't be doing that this year. And because I'd already bought lots of stuff to do my wreath making with, I thought it would be a good idea to do a video and then you can make it yourself at home. So what we start with is some mossing wire, and this is a 14-inch ring for your wreath, and I got most of the bits that I'm using today from the Essentials company, which delivers, so you do it online and they deliver to you. So we're going to need the wire ring, and you need some moss. Moss you can still get from garden centres because you can still go into garden centres. I have had trouble getting them in the past. I used to get it from florist suppliers, but then the florist suppliers were letting me down a bit. So then I was trying different ways. I've tried with just putting a bed of leaves round. Don't do that, that won't work. Your wreath will wither within a couple of days and just not look very good at all, so you don't want to do that. So I used to get, this is left over from last year and I'll show you the size of it. This is a jumbo bag I got from the garden centre last year, and I can't actually remember how much it was, but this year I went to the garden centre to get it. Now this is called a jumbo bag, and this will set you back about £10. So if you can think of a cheaper way of doing this, and if you can find it online that will deliver free or something, then try that. Otherwise it's not a cheap thing to do really. The other thing you could do, which I've done before, is you can get these, I'm not sure if I got this from Hobbycraft, it's like a straw base and then covered in like a moss. You can use this, but you will need to get, and I think they only come in this size, you will need to get a ring to attach it to, because I've tried doing this just as it is, and as it gets wet the weight of it drops and you end up kind of with a egg shape, which is actually quite nice for Easter, but for Christmas you probably want it nice and round. So you'd need, say, like a 12-inch ring to attach this to, which you can just put wire around that will hold it there. But today we're going to do moss. Moss is nice. And I think actually I'm wondering if it might be something about sustainability, that it's the quantities are getting less and the prices are getting more. So if you are very environmentally aware, maybe you would like to look into this more, so that you're not feeling bad like if you have a conscience about it. And I slightly do, and I'm hoping that that I will find other ways in the future of doing this. So you have your mossing wire and you have your ring. To start off, I just wrap a little bit. Can you see this on the camera? I wrap a bit round the bar here just to hold it in place. And we'll be doing this in stages because this is wreath making is not a quick thing really. You'll need to set yourself about 2 or 3 hours to do it, especially if you're new to this. But because you can do it in stages, you could do like the mossing stage first, like we're going to do today, and then come back and do all the foliage bits, and then come back the next day and do the decorative pretty bits. So I'm going to give it a tug because I want this not to move. It's going to have to last us all the way around. Then we get your moss. And I actually really like the feel of this. I don't know whether some people don't like it, because it's sort of damp, but it's nice, it smells nice. And you want to make, like I say, a hairy caterpillar, so you want a nice hairy caterpillar. And place it over where you're going to start attaching it to your ring. So I'm going to put that there. When I do this in sections as I go round, some people put the moss all the way around before they wire it, but this is the way I do it. So, got your wire, pass it through, just leave a little gap, or how much is that? But well, that might leave a gap in between as you're pulling. You do need to pull it because you want it to stay there. Don't pull it. I've had people pull it so much that it snaps. You don't want that. So just pull it so it really bites into the moss, but not so tight that it snaps. You just keep going. This is going to be boring for you, so we're going to stop in a minute. I'm just going to show you. So as you run out of moss here, you just add more hairy caterpillars round until you get all the way round. You can make, if there's like little thin bits you want to just add some more moss to, just add some more moss and just keep going round. It'll be fine. You won't see the wire at all. So I'm going to keep doing this, and when we come back, I will then show you about adding the leaves around. Okay, so see you in a minute. So we've done our mossing, gone all the way around the ring. I'll show you mine. Actually, it's quite heavy now. I'm keeping this mossing wire attached. Some wreath makers, when I was taught, I'm sure, we cut this wire and attached it securely, and then got some green wire, which is actually florist wire called real wire. But I've continued using this mossing wire for my leaves, and you really can't see it, so I'm just going to keep it like this. It's up to you if you want to change. And I have all these cuttings that I've got from hedgerows and things, so from your garden you might have some laurel or some, this is great, this is tree ivy, I use this a lot, and I've got some pine in here as well. You'll need, I know this looks like loads, it's all falling on the floor, but you'll need a lot more than you think you will need, because we only use the tips, so the pretty tips, let's show you. These are the things that we need. We don't want any sort of cut bits like this. We'll hide anything like this, and we'll also remove any leaves or anything that's ugly or been nibbled away or got any bits of bird poo or anything like that. You don't want anything like that. So it sort of reduces, and as you add it to your ring, you will see how much you use. Now I'm going to use. I used to be really delicate with this, and so have about this much of each little cutting, and it would be a really neat ring round. Now I really like them really thick and woolly, so instead of having like 3 little sprigs and adding 3 at a time and taking ages, I really like to get a big old bundle. So like I'll get like a sort of bouquet together. So I've gone onto my foliage and collected some bits that I like. Got a little mixture of laurel and tree ivy. I've got some old man's beard in there. I might get some, yeah, let's put a bit of pine in as well. So it's made like a bouquet. And then you place the edges, and you don't want any additional leaves hanging off the end. I know I haven't described that well, but you'll get the hang of it, and you'll get to see what I mean. So this is where my wire is finished, so I'm going to put it near there, place the stems over the edge, and then you wrap, like you did with your moss, you wrap your wire around and give it a tug, and I wrap it around a few times to make it really secure. Okay, does that feel that's pretty secure? So then I go and get another little bouquet, and you'll notice on here also I haven't used holly, and some people can't imagine a Christmas wreath without holly, so there's nothing to stop you using holly. I don't like it because it really hurts. You will have to use quite thick gardening gloves for making your wreath if you're using holly, because it really does hurt. So that's the reason I don't use it. And the other reason I don't use it is because the beautiful berries on holly, I found that they just drop off. So instead of being all lovely on your wreath, it doesn't take long before you've got all the berries dropping, withering and dropping on the floor, and then getting slippy underfoot. That's not so nice. I do have these. I found these on the walk. I don't know, probably you'd be able to tell me what they're called. I was going to say rose hips. They might be, but they're not. It doesn't feel very thorny, so I'm not sure what they are. But they seem pretty hardy, so I might actually put some of those in my wreath as I go. But usually what I would do is get some decoration berries, and when we get to the decoration stage, I would then fit them into the wreath around in little strategic places where I think it looks nice. But that's up to you. You do it how you want to do it. And if you're doing this every year, you'll get to know the things that suit you, the things you want to have in your wreath, and the things that don't. Another thing I was going to say is where you have these beautiful trailing ivies. I love these. But this is not the stage to be adding them, because they look so beautiful just sort of falling round, that I might add them at the end as decoration, because as you'll see, as you're doing your mossing wire again all the way around the leaves, this doesn't lend itself to having things trailing off. So we'll leave those as a decoration at the end. Right, so let's get a whole mixture of leaves again. Let's have some more pine. When you cut, you snip from the twiggy end. You don't, if it's too long, don't go, oh, I'll snip it off here. You don't want these showing. What else do I want? I could have a bit of laurel again. Well, maybe I'll add these berries at the end, because actually that is getting hidden in there, and we want that to be really prominent. So this wreath that I'm making now is going to be in a giveaway on my Facebook page. So it's facebook.com Little Elves Workshops, and it's a shops with a shops, because Little Elves Workshop, that's not me, that's somebody else. So this bit, so we've got this bit, we've got the stems here. You want to cover up the stems. So what you do is you overlap. Don't need that leaf there, it's in the way. Wrap with your wire, give it a pull. Do it a couple of times. Oh, there's a short bit of twig there, so I'm going to go over to make sure I've included everything so that nothing's just going to fall out when I lift it up. Here we go. Nice and thick. And the next one I do, I might make sure I've got some foliage going in this bit to cover up the moss. Some people really like the look of the moss. I do too, so if you wanted to, you could just go around part way of your ring and leave some of the moss exposed, and that's like a really nice look. For this one, I'm going to go all the way around. I'm just going to make it a really traditional wreath. Okay, so I'm going to stop the filming now, but I will continue all the way around, and when we come back we'll be doing the really fun part, which is decoration.